Are you considered the bookish person in your family or friend group? Do you want to give a Christmas gift to somebody who's not so bookish, but you want to share your love of books? Today I have a bookish gift guide for you. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianna and this is For Pause and a Book. I make book and lifestyle related content, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Like I said before, we're going to be doing a bookish gift guide. Now, this is going to be primarily for you as a book lover, because let's be honest, if you're here on YouTube listening to me talk about books, you probably already have a love of books. But it is that time of the year where we do have to interact with humans that may not love books as much. And I get it. You want to share that love. So I have a list of books today that have a very wide range of appeal. I think that anyone, even if they're not really big into reading, would still really enjoy these. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of examples. Also, if you are the person who got the Secret Santa who is a book lover, maybe I have some ideas for you too. So let's get started. Okay, Frederick Bachmann is a very safe option to start someone out with reading. He writes contemporary literary fiction, and he has a very wide range of characters. I have A Man Called Ova here. This is one of my favorites. This is about a grumpy old man who honestly wants to die, and every time he tries to unalive himself, his neighbors interrupt. And he is so scared that if he doesn't go and help his neighbors, if he does die, and he gets to heaven and his wife is going to yell at him for not helping the neighbors. I love this book so much. It was one of my favorite books of 2019, I believe. Another one that's really, really popular is Beartown, and that is about a hockey town. That one deals with very serious topics as well. It is a hockey town, and one of the players is accused of raping another girl in the town. Thrillers are also a really safe option if you're trying to get someone a book for the holidays. Thrillers are one of those ones that are like on grocery store shelves and Target and airports and things like that. So thrillers are very widely popular. So I have a couple of my favorites that I think would be very widely popular. Obviously, there's things like Gone Girl and like basically anything that she writes. The Girl on the Train. Those are all very popular. But I have a couple of other ones. No Exit by Taylor Adams. Apparently, this is going to be a Hulu series or movie. Don't know how I feel about that, because this one definitely has some like a gory, visual media. This almost like borders on horror. There's definitely, a nail gun being shot into someone's hand, that kind of stuff. But this is one of those very wintry thrillers that takes place at a rest stop in between Colorado and Utah, and she has to figure out who at the rest stop has kidnapped a child. I loved this book when I read it last year. It did make one of my favorite books of 2020. And another one that I really loved last year was Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. Riley Sager, again, is a very popular thriller author, so you're pretty much safe with any of them, although his newest one is getting less than positive reviews. But I think this one is probably the most widely popular. It's very reminiscent of The Haunting of Hill House, so if the person is into that genre. There's also a lot of references to Stephen King, who, again, very widely popular, very well known, and so there's a lot of they talk about a pet cemetery, they talk about reference The Shining, that kind of thing. So even if someone is not very well versed in the genre or this author specifically, this is a very widely appealing book and would probably get some good reception. Then I have a couple of books that will probably give you or your recipient an existential crisis in a good way. And we love that. Books are supposed to do that. We have The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This book is about a girl who tries to unalive herself. Wow, I am depressing. I am recommending you books about depressed characters. Cool. Anyways, this character ends up in the midnight library, and she is able to see different outcomes of her life had she made different decisions along the way. So she's able to see, if she actually went along with her Olympic swimming dreams, where would she be right now? If she decided to join that band, where would she be now? It's a very interesting book. It's very short, and while it starts off very depressing, it is very heartwarming by the end, and again, kind of makes you think. And then we also have The Invisible Life of Addie Larue by V.E. Schwab. This is about a girl who in the 1700s made a deal with the devil because she didn't want to get married to this man. It was an arranged marriage kind of thing. So she made this deal with the devil. And essentially, she was going to become immortal. She could live out her life the way she wanted to. But in return, no one knew she existed. No one could remember her. So essentially, she would walk out of a room and walk back in, and no one would remember her, even if they were just having a conversation. And then in present day, so 300 years later, someone remembers her, someone sees her, and remembers who she is, and so then she has to kind of figure out why. So this, again, was one of my favorite books of last year. It is beautiful, it is atmospheric, the writing is so amazing, and I think that anyone would really enjoy this. Of course, you can't do a list like this without Taylor Jenkins Reid. I feel like she is probably one of the most wide-ranging, broadly appealing authors probably out there today. Let's be honest. So I have a few of her most popular works. These are her most recent ones. Of course, we have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Basically, if anyone is telling me I want a book for Christmas or I want to get into reading, this is the book that I recommend them. If someone wants to get into reading, this is the book that I give them. So this is your number one option, I think, in my personal opinion. I'm probably a little bit biased because this is my favorite book of all time, but you can't go wrong here. You can't go wrong. But then also her most recent ones are also really vastly appealing. Daisy Jones and the Six is about a Fleetwood Mac type band, and it's all done in documentary style. So if someone's really into music, then this might be a really good segue into the reading world. And then her most recent one is Malibu Rising, and this follows a family of surfers that are celebrities in the 80s. I think it's the 80s, 89 or something like that. And it kind of follows their life up to a certain point. And this one was really, really good, a really good family story as well. And lastly, I think when people think about getting into reading, they kind of gravitate towards nonfiction. And while I heartily disagree that a self-help book is where you should start, there are a couple of nonfictions that I have pulled that I think are, people would like. The first one is I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle Mcnamara. This is very true crime-esque. This is one woman's obsessive search for the Golden State Killer. There is a lot of research in here. There's a lot of, it's very documentary podcast style. In fact, if you listen to the audiobook of it, you almost can't tell that you're not listening to a true crime podcast. So really, really like this one. And a book that I have not read yet, because I literally just got it, but I know that this is going to be a really popular gift for people as an intro to books, and that is Will. This is Will Smith's memoir. Obviously, anyone our generation that grew up on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air knows who Will Smith is. Honestly, anyone does. Let's be real. Specifically, those that grew up on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, this could be a great book for them. There is, let me see if I can find it. There are pictures, real life pictures of him growing up. So obviously I can't specifically recommend this book yet because I haven't read it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be amazing. All right, those are a couple of books that I think would make great gifts for anyone on your list. Let me know down in the comments below if I have missed any. We can create a shopping list down there. That is all I have for you today. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little red button that you can do so down below the video, and all the other links to my social media will be in the description below if you would like to be my friend on any other platform. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.